Hello coin collectors and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to look at the 1970s United States 1 cent coin. So let's get this out of the way right up front. The 1970 United States 1 cent Lincoln penny, or the Lincoln Memorial penny, is not rare. It is not rare. I know that it's 50 years old, and we know that since 1975 the S Mint mark has designated a San Francisco Mint proof coin, and we know that San Francisco mintages are much lower than the Philadelphia Mint, which is of course on these coins there's no mint mark at all, and the Denver Mint, which is a D. We know that San Francisco makes a lot less coins than Philadelphia and Denver. Fact 4, of course, we know that the 1 cent coins don't look like they used to. We know that the new 1 cent coin does have Lincoln on the front, and it is the Victor David Brenner Lincoln portrait. We can see the Victor VDB here from the original 1 cent coin, and we know that, of course, now they put the P on for the Philadelphia Mint mark, and we know that if we flip it over, we see a totally different, the old shield reverse. In 1970, on the S coin, of course, they had the Lincoln Memorial reverse. So we know that they've changed up these coins, and you'd think, well, that should make it worth more, right? Well, it kind of does. Of course, the Lincoln penny had changed before. When it first came out in 1909, and this is a 1909 Lincoln penny, it came out in 2 different versions, and one of them was very expensive, which I don't have, and the other was not so expensive. So in 1909, this is the Lincoln penny, and you see that it says, "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty Behind Lincoln, 1909" down in front of him, and then on the back or reverse of the coin it says "E Pluribus Unum," and then it says 1 cent United States of America. So when it first came out, it was the wheat ears cent. And if you have a really expensive version of these, it'll have a VDB on it in the back, but this one does not have that. So this one is probably worth $2 to $3, maybe a little bit more. So then they moved to from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial reverse, and there's Lincoln way in the back there. I don't know if you can see him, the statue of Lincoln there. It says United States of America 1 cent, and they stuck the E Pluribus Unum above the Lincoln Memorial. So this is a change already. So it's 50 years old. It had changed once before. Well, of course, we had some steel cents in the 1940s, but it changed once before. But essentially, the Lincoln cent looked pretty similar all through its history, and still does look pretty similar on the front at least. Now, fact number 6 is that we know that when the 1909 coin was originally minted, it had 3 different mints that made it, and that was San Francisco, which of course was the S, Philadelphia, which would have no mint mark, and Denver. So we do know that at one point all 3 mints made the coin, and we know that when it was made first, none of them were proof coins. So they didn't make any proof coins in 1909. That wasn't a concept back then. Next fact we know about the 1970s coin is that they made a huge number of the 1970 coins. Not huge compared to any other year, but also huge compared to the 1909 coin. So in 1909, they did make a lot. When they first came out with the Lincoln penny, they made 100 million the first year, and it included 1.8 million circulating San Francisco Mint coins. So in 1909, they made 1.8 million of these original wheat ear pennies at the San Francisco Mint. So they've made them at the San Francisco Mint a lot. It's just that they've kind of gone back and forth. Now, we do know that in 1959, they changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. And in 1959, when they made that change, they did not put out any S mint mark coins. None at all. In fact, they didn't put out any S mint mark coins between 1955, actually, before they changed it over, and 1968. So the S mint mark did not come back on the coins until 1968. And that's the thing that makes this coin not so rare and not so valuable. In 1968, when they came back out with the S mint mark coins, they made them if all in general circulation. So, in fact, here's a 1969, and you see this is a nickel with the S mint mark. Is this valuable? No, it's not a proof coin, because in 1968, when they came out with the coins, they started making them at San Francisco with the S mint mark, non-proof versions. Here's actually a 1973 dime, and you're going, okay, well, this has got to be worth a lot. This is worth a lot because it's in good shape, but it's not a proof coin. Even though it has an S on it, this is a general circulation, almost uncirculated coin, but not a proof coin. In 1973, they were still making them at the San Francisco Mint in a non-proof version. So this coin here that we see is a 1970S, but it's not a proof coin. It's a general circulating coin. Now, the 1968, when they decided to change it at all three mints, they made a bunch of them, but in 1970, they made 690,560,004 of these S pennies. So 690 million and a half. So they're not rare. They're not valuable in general. How many did they make at the other mints? Well, that's pretty interesting, because if we look at the Philadelphia Mint, now again, remember the Philadelphia Mint did not have a mint mark in 1970, and at the Philadelphia Mint they made 1.9 billion of these. So is any 1970 penny rare? Not general circulating pennies, they're not. What about the Denver Mint? Well, at the Denver Mint, oops, that's another S. Let's get that Denver Mint one out. At the Denver Mint, so here's our D for Denver Mint. In 1970, they made 2.9 billion. So between Philadelphia and Denver, they made 4.8 billion pennies, or Lincoln Memorial 1 cents in 1970. So a 1970 1 cent coin is unlikely to ever be rare. And a 1970 S coin is unlikely to ever be rare. How non-rare is it? Well, I got one in change yesterday at the supermarket. Okay, this one here, not this one, but I got this one in change at the supermarket yesterday. Just a beautiful coin. Look at the toning on that and how it sets through. So this is a 1970S. This one below is a 1970S. And so this one I got at the supermarket yesterday. I had this one before. So you can get them in your change still. Now, so you say, okay, it's not rare. It's not very valuable. At least these ones aren't. You can probably get these for 99 cents, $1, maybe $1.50 plus shipping on eBay right now. However, there are a few rare varieties. There are some varieties that have a high zero. In other words, the zero goes a little bit above the 7. There are some varieties that have a low zero where the zero goes way down. You can see a little bit of a difference in the zeros on here. This one's a little higher than this one, and that's not because of anything we're doing special to the video part of it. Let's put them next to each other on the other side, and we'll do it the same way. I just flip them over. So you can see the O on this one, the 0 on this one's a little bit higher than the 7, and so is it on this one. So there is a high and low zero variety. There are some large and small date varieties, and this one looks like it's probably a small date. This one date's a little bit larger, but again, you have to have them looked at with a great comparison. In other words, you have to have a really good quality coin to see the large and small dates. And there are some double dies. So what's the most expensive? Lincoln Memorial 1970 S penny. Well, there's some double dies listed for 15 to 20,000. The double die obverse. Now, on these coins, they are so kind of used that you probably couldn't tell the double die on the obverse unless it was incredibly evident. And of course, if we look at these, we're not seeing much any real kind of double die here. So, are they rare? No. Are they valuable? Probably not. Are they kind of cool to get in your change because you're so used to getting S's being proof coins? Yeah. When I got this in my change, I said, wow, that's great. It made it a great day. But I'm not going to sell it. And even if I wanted to sell it, I'd probably only get $1 or $2 for it. So that's all we have today on the DC Coinwheel International Coin Channel on the 1970 S United States Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin.